Once upon a time, in the deep forest, during the silent night hours, the moonlight spilled through the trees, illuminating the whole forest fantastically. In this forest, there lived a special bear. His name was Koko. Koko was a little different from the other bears, and he loved to tell stories. He told the animals in the forest about his adventures, dreams, and strange events. One night, the moon was shining especially brightly, so Koko decided to gather in his special place, under an old big tree. His forest friends, Ricky the squirrel, Willie the rabbit, and Oliver the owl, came. They were looking forward to the story that Koko would tell. "Tonight's story is about the truth under the moonlight," Koko said. The friends listened with great interest. "Once upon a time, when I was still young," Koko began to tell the story. "One night, I was walking deep in the forest in the moonlight. At that time, I found a special light shining from the forest. When I approached it, a mysterious scene unfolded before me, as if I was in a dream." He continued, "I followed the source of the light and found a large lake. The surface of the lake reflected the moonlight like a silver mirror. I sat down by the lake and admired the beautiful scenery. However, I was not the only one there. Suddenly, the surface of the lake rippled, and a beautiful white fox appeared from it. She asked me, 'Are you looking for the truth?' I looked back at her eyes in surprise. And I answered, 'Yes, I want to know the truth.' The fox smiled and pointed to the water of the lake. 'The truth you seek is reflected in the water of this lake. You will find it.' He took a breath and looked at the expressions of his companions. They were listening engrossed. I looked into the lake and saw the events of my past reflected there. The time I helped my friend when I was a child, the fear I felt when I was lost in the woods, and the beautiful moments of my memories. Every event seemed to be teaching me something in my heart. At that moment, I realized. The truth is not just the scenery and events in front of us, but the emotions, memories, and love behind them. Everything we experience shapes us." The fox smiled at me and said, "You're looking for the truth not in the outside world, but in your own heart. Sometimes it's important to look quietly at yourself and remember." After he finished speaking, the eyes of his friends were filled with emotion. Willie spoke. "So the truth is within us, isn't it?" "That's right, Willie. Our experiences and memories create our truth." He answered gently here. Ricky nodded and said, "From now on, let's listen to our hearts more." Oliver said, looking up at the sky, "Perhaps the truth seen in the moonlight sometimes gives us courage." That night, under the moonlight, the companions thought about the truth in their hearts, and spent time quietly reflecting on themselves. Kokomi smiled with satisfaction as she watched them. Enveloped in the silence of the forest and in the moonlight, they shared their memories and connected with each other. Then, as the night deepened, Kokomi quietly closed her eyes, watching over her companions. The moonlight shone on their gentle forms, and the entire forest was enveloped in a peaceful sleep. And so, once again tonight, Kokomi shared the truth in her heart with her companions, and enjoyed a special time under the moonlight. The forest quietly and gently enveloped them, leading them into a world of dreams.